Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Baka.
Sup, guys?
What's up, everybody?
Oh my god, we're so
We
late.
are an hour and a half late starting this bad boy.
Yeah, y'all better
cool,
appreciate
awesome.
this. We had to troubleshoot like a bajillion hours this morning to make this happen.
Special shout out to ICQ for having an actual program that works with what we're trying to do here.
Yes, thank you. ICQ is like the only voice chat that we can use that will allow us to window capture anymore. Thanks for updating, Skype, you jerks.
Yes.
Yep. We can also use filters too, but we'll stay away from it now. We'll use those for emphasis later.
So if there's a little bit of a issue with this, then I'll address it, because it looks like it's being a little laggy now that I've got everything running. So if the audio looks like it's desynced, it should fix itself, or I'll try to fix it in post. So we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, so
Yeah.
very quickly, what's everybody been playing this week?
Video games.
Done.
I always wait for my opportunity for that.
Done.
Always.
That was it. See,
I have so
I'm
many
fine.
regrets.
Sea of Thieves, Metro. That's it. I'm good.
Okay.
Fallout 76. I did not play any more Fable 3 this week. I don't think I'm ever going to go back to it. It was terrible. I'm sorry you had to suffer, Baka.
You have to finish it.
Maybe someday, but my Game Pass thing is over, and I was only playing it for free, so that thing ain't worth
Oh,
buying.
is our Game Pass over?
Yeah,
Oh.
turn it off for now. But we can turn it back on.
Okay.
And Anthem. Those are what I've been playing. Fallout 76 good, Anthem, and then Overwatch and random shit.
Yeah, my game hopped a lot. It's just mostly. I think. Black, did you do anything specific?
Anthem, and that's really about it.
Oh, we were all
and-
slacking,
I know I gotta find another game to like dig into.
right?
I've been painting. I've been trying to get these little bad bastards done.
I'm sure he'll post them in Discord when they are done, so you can look forward to that. We did play some Anthem though, and Chicken and I hit maximum disillusionment at one point.
Maximum disillusionment.
Yes, we hit cap level, so we're 30, and then decided that we were gonna try some of the harder difficulties because we've been playing on hard. So the thought process is, well, okay, we've gotten everything we can get out of hard. Let's go ahead and swap to playing on Grandmaster so that we can start getting upgrades. Well, the problem is that doesn't change anything. Once you start getting level 38 purple drops, that's the highest tier you're going to get. The next thing you have to look forward to is getting Masterworks and Legendaries. So changing it from hard to Grandmaster, there was like no loot difference. In fact, actually, we played all night on Grandmaster 1, and he got one. We played like 4 hours, and he got one Masterwork to drop that was not an upgrade, and I got none. So we finally hit that point that everybody else had been talking about with the loot problem that I didn't understand, because they front load the loot. You're getting great stuff all the way through up until when you hit cap, and then there's the drought. So that is the point where we're like, oh, so now we've just got to try to get it to drop weapons with different stats than what we already have, because we've already got the best of. Oh, okay, this is dumb. But we're not the only ones with that problem. People have been complaining about it for weeks on the BioWare forums, or the Anthem forums, and BioWare is finally addressing it. They have changed the frequency at which loot drops in Grandmaster 2 and 3 for Legendaries and Masterworks, and in the lower difficulties, when you're fighting the harder enemies like the Elite Titans and things like that, they will also have a more increased chance to drop better loot. So finally, maybe we can get somewhere with that. Maybe. But that is not helped by the fact that a fan did some math for everybody, posted it on Reddit, and the way their loot algorithm works versus your gear score works means that even if you have better loot on, you may be doing worse damage because of it. Chicken, you looked at the math, and you know how great I am at math, so I'll let you or somebody else talk about it, because you do not want me to start trying to throw numbers around.
Okay, so the way the problem with the power scaling in Anthem is, from what this guy says, is that it unfortunately does not count all of your gear slots. It only counts the slots that have gear in it. Say if you have one thing equipped and it's a legendary rifle, a legendary weapon, it will take that level 75 item times it by 1, and then divide it by 1. What does that come out as? Math? Anybody?
What did you say,
Comes out
75?
as
75.
75. Still comes out at 75, right? So your power score is 75, or yeah, your power level is 75. Okay, now let's take somebody who is fully equipped. He has 1 legendary weapon, 6 masterworks, and 4 epics. You take all of that, you add it up, then you divide it by 11, and you come out at 53.
So you have better gear.
So this
but
person
you're
who
doing...
is, this person who is fully equipped with epics and masterworks is now a lower power score than the dude with 1 weapon.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that's supposed to work.
They have already replied to it and said they are changing it. It will now be 11 slots no matter what. So it'll be 75 times 1 divided by 11. So now your power score is going to go from being 75 to 7.5.
Did they already fix that, or is that...
That's coming out in the next patch.
Okay, so not
Next
yet.
patch,
So if you
they're
want to run
addressing it.
1 weapon only for a minute, go ahead.
This thing
Like
also doesn't get
flamethrower.
into... The thing it doesn't get into, though, is the stats on everything else that it gives you. Your power score may go down, but all the affixes from the items and whatnot add into your overall power, like more shields, more damage, all of these different types of things. Like,
I see
your
what
power
you're saying.
your power score may be higher for sure. You can do a little more damage, but you're going to get one shot. Just by just about anything looking at you, you're just going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of issues with Anthem that just kind of keep springing up like
Yes.
weeds.
Yes, it's just like the little bubbling spring that doesn't stop.
Yes, and I could see like BioWare going, "Oh shit, there's another one, Cork. Oh shit, there's another one, Cork. Oh my god, we just need to fucking do something about this."
Just get some Flex
like-
Seal
like
and paint
the-
the whole bottom.
Yeah, it's like those old cartoons where they keep using their fingers to plug in all the holes, and
Yes.
they eventually run out.
Yes.
If the game wasn't as fun to play as it is, I would have been
Done with it.
done with it a little while ago. But the game's really, really fun. And now that I've kind of changed my mindset on how the end game is, Grandmaster is not a progressive state. It is an end game state.
It feels like,
Like-
it should be a progressive state, though, and not an
It
endgame
sh-
state. But whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I feel like it was the wrong choice to go this route, but it's a choice they've gone with. Unfortunately, it's a bad choice in my opinion. But that's just how it is. And well, now we just gotta it just turns into the grind now because putting all of your loot eggs into the masterwork and legendary basket just does not feel like progression, like proper
doesn't.
progression.
It feels like they really missed the mark on it, progression-wise.
Yes. Like, hit me up, man. I had such a brilliant idea. Like, 38 be the max of epics in hard mode, and then when you hit Grandmaster 1, you can get blues, but they'll be at the end of Grandmaster, blues will be 48, and then epics will be 50. So boom, you've progressed through Grandmaster. You're ready for Grandmaster 2, and then the blues and epics. The blues are gone in Grandmaster 2, and it's nothing but epics, and they scale up to 56. And then boom, you're ready for Grandmaster 3. You've progressed through these 2 difficulties. Shit's getting crazy hard. And then in the last one is where the real end game is. Like Grandmaster 3 is where like high chance of legendaries and masterworks are. Like those are your only ways of progression in Grandmaster 3. Like that would make so much more sense to me than instead of just a low chance in Grandmaster 1 trying to progress.
I agree.
Well,
Well,
it
then,
just feels
then,
so
then you
hollow
create
behind.
replayability too, where currently you don't really have a reason to do it if it's not dropping as way you need it to.
Exactly. It just feels so hollow after Grandmaster 1. It's
Yes.
like, but everything right here I can get. It's like, I mean, I know the chance goes up as you progress on, but it almost just does not feel satisfying enough.
I agree. It doesn't. It doesn't feel rewarding enough. It doesn't feel like you're making any progress. You're just killing the same things. Like I said, we played 4 hours and I didn't get any masterwork to drop, so I didn't get anything out of that 4 hours. It was just
Yeah.
nothing, you know? So.
Yep.
Well, hopefully they will keep improving that and, come out successful on the other side. I wish games as
We
a
can
live
hope.
service didn't always have to be that way, but
Hopefully it'll do it. The way games work nowadays, it doesn't really matter whether you finish working on them that way as long as people are playing them. Destiny continued to be an issue, and the fact that they were they're like, oh wait, we need a plot line, and finally created one. Created it Destiny 2. It's kind of like, all right, well, we got the plot line, but we're not going to expand upon that. So it just, those became an issue. And then you have, of course, PUBG, which leads into the news story that we've got next. PUBG, which has been out for a long time. It's been out for, almost 5 years now, 4 years. And
oh my
has
gosh.
still not been optimized.
No,
It's 3 years, isn't it?
only been out for like 2 years.
2 years.
Like full? Are we
No, 'cause
talking
it hit
full
its-
release or like early access?
It was
and
early
everything?
access for longer than that because they're going to...
Initial release date, March 23rd, 2017.
Is that for the early access, or is that?
Yeah,
'cause I don't
that's the
remember
initial
when
because
they
it came out in
actually-
December.
Okay,
Remember,
so you got 2
1.0
years
came out in
into it. They
December.
still haven't optimized their fucking game.
Yeah, which
Okay.
is still awful.
A
It's
problem.
still a piece of shit game. It's worse on Xbox. And so it's like you continue to have this game. And then not only they just released it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So they've just continued to release the game in an unfinished state. And then the creator of the game is now leaving PUBG and moving to another part of the company called Special Projects. Well, is Special Projects, hey, let's fucking optimize a game? Is that what
No.
Special
No, it's
Projects is
probably
supposed
not.
to be? Because I'm telling you right now, Brendan Green, Mr. Player Unknown, guess what? We know who the fuck you are, and I'm not touching a goddamn game of yours unless you can prove that it's actually done correctly.
No
this is
shit.
so pissy of them. In this case, like, you know why you're leaving? Because you couldn't do your damn game right. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, shots fired.
I mean, I'm just saying. Dude,
That's
come on.
kinda
You're
how
still a
mo-
consulting creator. you know.
That's kind of how I feel with most games now. With downloading and everything, like the developers are just getting lazy and not optimizing or not finishing.
Sometimes
or,
I don't think it's
or
the developers.
half-assing
Sometimes I
some
think
of it.
it's a large push by the publishers to get the stuff out there. I mean, like, we can fix it later. Just go, 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 go. Like,
Yes,
Well, but in this
because
case, I don't think Bluehole was pushing this game, though. I think it was...
No.
that's true.
Because he
Yeah.
was part of it, because he created the game and Bluehole just helped him out. And then they created a separate part. This game was $1 billion game before it ever fully released.
Right.
Think about that for a minute. Like, it had already made $1 billion. So they created their own company on the side for it. It's like, you still haven't fixed all the problems. You created a full release when it should never have been a full release. You create new maps. Cool, I guess. But take the guys you got working on maps and fucking put them in. Hey, here's bugs. Let's fix them. Optimize the damn game. It just
yeah, but sometimes
doesn't.
the spaghetti gets so tangled up that it's not even worth. Like, you've already made $1 billion out of it. What the fuck does it matter if they fix it or not?
So a special project PUBG 2
Probably.
Yes.
now with building mode. Well, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean,
Please
to be
no.
fair, I think Apex went in the right direction with BRs. Like, I mean, the whole class thing and like the fast pace, the time to kill, and all that stuff. I think they went in a much better direction. They took what worked in Fortnite and what worked in Blackout and what worked in PUBG and kind of mixed it up and kind of.
And what worked in
let's see
Overwatch.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
they
the ping
went from
system
all
people-
genres. They just didn't go, hey, here's
See,
how
you
a BR is
mentioned
supposed to
that,
work.
and I was gonna save this other story for later, but that is actually a perfect tie-in. Is the whole Gearbox thing? They put the little billboard with March 28th, Boston, because they're gonna announce something, and it says Exit 3 at the top of the billboard thing. So people are speculating that it's gonna be Borderlands 3, but the bigger speculation is it's going to be their jump into the same genre of the shooter looters and everything, where they're going to try to go that same route, because you mentioned classes, and that's something that Borderlands already does. So
That's correct.
it would theoretically fit, like, you could make a Borderlands Apex-esque BR.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they've already talked about the
Definitely.
possibility that the next Borderlands is going to be a live service game. So
They'll
if
throw
it
in
is, it could be...
random creatures or encounters to try to get better loot too.
They'd
Dynamic
probably...
gameplay.
Well, dynamic gameplay, but the problem is they tried to do something very similar with that when they did Battleborn. Was that them? Is that the one? I mean,
yes,
I know that's
the Battleborn is not even of the same beast, because Battleborn was a MOBA which did have
Well,
NPCs
no.
and
And-
monsters in it.
Well, and I agree with that, but I mean, I think that if you insinuated that that's what they were going to do, it would be because they took it from the stuff that failed in Battleborn and tried to shove it into another game.
Yeah.
They also released that pixely picture on their Twitter and was talking about, that, and a lot of people were like, Borderlands 3, that one, the pixel picture is definitely not Borderlands 3. That's either going to be Borderlands 2 on the Switch or an 8-bit version of Borderlands 2, but it's not Borderlands 3. My guess is Borderlands 2 on the Switch, and then if they do announce Borderlands 3, it'll be a very basic, teaser.
Well, what these folks are saying, that it looks like it might be their attempt to do something Destiny, Anthem, Division style, like where it's a bigger.
I could see them going
world.
the Anthem route of trying to do something like that, because Borderlands is kind of what Anthem seems like it was loosely based on to start with the idea of a looter shooter, but a full co-op looter shooter.
To be fair, I feel like they did try to mimic PUBG. Borderlands, but the problem is that in a game like Anthem, where you try to create endgame, they really did not have that sorted out. They needed to look at different models like Destiny Destiny
in
MMOs
its later iterations, once they had added a lot of the content to the stuff.
Yes,
that's the problem with the live services, though, is they start out bare bones and expect to build on that, but if you start out too bare, a lot of people don't wait around for you to build.
Just hire me. I could artificially fill your games to where people just want to keep playing to artificially progress. Like, it gets boring even in Destiny, because at the end it just turns into a grind. It's like you got to make that somehow fun repetitive. You gotta reward them, and you gotta make them feel like they're progressing somehow.
Which you think like with those, you think that the dungeons that they've set up in those style of games, or the raids they've set up in that style of games, if those have been built correctly to start with, that would be what they're part of. But in those games, they haven't been built correctly. So, because my thing is if you turn around and I go into a dungeon style or whatever, I feel better about Anthems the way that they set into the dungeons than I did with Destiny, because with Destiny, like, the matchmaking was just atrocious.
For a little while, what matchmaking?
Yeah, right. So you could go into those dungeons and have to be a certain amount in order to get into the dungeons, which Destiny has. You can't get into this dungeon unless you're here.
Well, because it's going to be a different difficulty, in which if you're under-geared, you don't stand a chance. Which World of Warcraft did the same thing for a while, where it's like you have to be a certain level to get in to this dungeon.
Where Anthem, it was just you had to progress to the storyline to a certain point in order to be able to open those up.
Hell, you could do them if somebody else queued you for them.
Right. Well, yeah, if you're part of a group. Yeah, if you're part of a group.
Yeah.
I also think that it would be interesting. One of the things I kind of wish they would have added to something like that is the raid stuff, because you're used to doing stuff in group of 4 and you can do like your dungeons, but I think it would be nice to be able to double that number and do a raid style something, so that you had to have a coordinated group that could go in and actually work together, and it actually felt like a challenge to do, instead of it just being like, and here's the same 3 strongholds you've been doing this whole time, enjoy forever.
Yeah.
I think they're supposed to be adding raids, but they didn't add them in the first part. I think they're part of the DLCs that they're doing.
Ugh.
And it's just kind of like,
again, don't skimp on the content too much because you want to add it later. Make sure we have enough to do right out of the gate that we don't get bored and leave and not let you get to later.
That's true,
you give
but I mean,
somebody a $60, they want to play $60 worth of game.
Not always. So some people they'll just be like, I'm not done with this.
Okay, part of the problem it's like, because I was thinking about it, is part of the culture of video games too, and this is something that has to be addressed. People don't like to wait. People don't like to have to grind or things like that. They kind of want to keep doing something and kind of keep feeling like they're going up the elevator, the escalator, or whatever the fuck it is. So waiting or, going on downtimes, it's really rough for gamers these days, which I'm really interested on how people are going to play WoW Classic, because that game is extremely slow and grindy. And that is part of the problem for games these days, is that they are slow or grindy, or there's not enough to do, or this or that. And it's like, we got to wait for patches, got to wait for updates, got to wait for new content. It's like...
But I guess the difference is, like, with Anthem, okay, we've already made it to level 30. We're cap level, and now we're just grinding out for gear. That did not take any time at all. But in WoW Classic, which is what you're using as your basic comparison, 45 hours is going to get you to level 10 in WoW Classic. Maybe.
Okay, come on now.
What I'm saying, the point that I'm trying to make here...
15, 20.
The point I'm trying to
45
make here, though,
hours?
is that with that time invested, is you still are progressing. There's still a goal that you're working towards. Whereas right now, it's like, okay, well, we can just play the same content over and over again and hope that we get
But I
these
could see people-
masterworks.
But
at
I could
least
see
with
people
that-
even playing WoW Classic going at that pace, quitting because it's so slow.
There needs to be a
Yeah,
happy
because-
balance in that kind of stuff. It can't be so quick that you hit cap level because then what?
WoW Retail.
But well, I mean, at least with that, you've still got raids and stuff that you
No,
can do,
because
but...
people quit because of that because it's so boring. I mean,
Okay, previous versions of WoW Retail, like Lich King and things like that, you didn't...
Yes, it became
Yeah, I mean,
more interesting and whatnot.
There was more stuff to do, there was lore to explore, but a lot of the games that we get now, like Anthem, a lot of your really interesting little things are, one, sprinkled in so slowly and sparsely that it's frustrating. You talk to one person, you get one part of their 3-part story, you leave the fort, you come back, you get the next part, and once you're done with it, they're gone. Or it's a core text that's on the floor, where you can read it in-game, unlike Destiny stuff, but it's still just something you read. It's not something that you participate in.
I still don't know if there's a game out there that has quite nailed it down.
I don't think
yet.
so. I think everybody's getting closer. I think a lot of games like Destiny 2, once they got everything kind of sorted, was on the right path to doing things like that. And I feel like Anthem could do it, but they're really falling short right now.
The games just do not understand like what it is to have like. You take the end off of a game and then it just spews out rainbows and the company's like, oh my god, what do we do to keep them occupied? Like we don't know how to handle end game in a game. Because Destiny
we were
first
planning to sell it
'cause-
back to them later.
Well,
Yeah.
most of
Destiny
them, too,
doesn't know how
are
to do
coming
it.
from single players, which is, here's the story that we want to tell, and when you reach the end of it, like, that's the end of that part of the story. You either wait till the
and
next
then you
game.
have to
It's not something that
start
they've
something.
had intentions to keep you playing outside of, like, actual multiplayer, like PvP multiplayer.
yeah.
So they've never really had to deal with it before.
Because the Division 2 is supposed to have like the story, like the getting to the end game is supposed to be in a lengthy time, and then once you get to the end, you've got dungeons, and then they're going to start releasing 8-player raids, which is good. Like I like the idea of 8-player raids. That shit sounds awesome. I just hope it's not nothing but bullet sponges again. That was part of the problem with the Division 1 is that once you got to end game, it turned into bullet sponge.
That's
city.
definitely one of the problems with FPS games as a service anyway, is that seems to be the mindset of, I have a gun, this is what we do, we shoot the bad guy. Whereas with a lot of your fantasy stuff, it'll be like, here's this raid boss that does this fire damage thing, and you all have to move the raid accordingly and things like that. Like, I mean, there's memorable mechanics if you played like original WoW and everything or you played WoW for a long time. You had things like the safety dance and all of that where you had to do specific things, whereas in shooters it's shoot that guy, stand behind this wall, shoot that guy some more.
I think one of the more interesting bosses in Classic WoW was you had to break up the raid into like 8 groups, have a healer, a tank in every single one, and then have the tank and the healers keep the boss in the middle of the field. And then periodically throughout the battle, the boss would teleport into one of the groups. And then the tank from that group would have to grab the boss and drag him back out into the middle of the field and let the other tank have him back, go back to his group, and basically keep watching where he would teleport around.
I know which fight you're talking about in Molten Core.
Yes, Shaja, I think it was.
Yeah, the magic dude.
The arcane, yeah. Like you gotta, there's coordination. It could be a
Yes.
bullet sponge, but there still needs to be coordination inside of it.
Yes. So I just need to get games as a service to that point where they're coordinating and making interesting boss fights and interesting content instead of go shoot
some
these
of the
same
raids
people.
in Destiny 2 some of the raids in Destiny 2 were set up that way, to where you
Some
have
of the ones in the Destiny 1, like the later half, started getting into like mechanic style bosses.
yeah, you had
They
mechanical
started getting
stuff
there,
that you
but
had
a
to
lot of it
organize.
was really like, from what I remember from the little bit of raiding that we did in the first Destiny, it really was legitimately shoot this guy. Here comes this specific attack. Everybody hide behind something. Okay, go back out. Like that was really the main mechanic of it, was just get out of the way before he annihilated you. Okay, he's done doing that thing. Go shoot some more. So,
Yeah,
but
they
we
ended
didn't
up
do
with
a
one-
whole lot of raiding. So
in the second one they did one where you had basically a group of people had to be on the outside of this big ring that's around nobody could enter it except through one spot, and they had to time everything to unlock doors in order to be able to. And then meanwhile, everybody in the middle is battling everything going on, while the other three are trying to work their way around, and one person's having to basically shout out what color needs to be hit next in order to be able to move their way
Making
around.
the raid
And
leader important
so
again.
there's some obvious coordination puzzle shit going on, along with all the battle stuff that's going on too. So that they kind of got to, right? But I think it's what's going to be interesting, which is how we started in the first place, to see if this is what Borderlands is leaning toward, going toward that standpoint and moving toward. Is
I really hope not.
I don't either. I think that
I want them
people
to
expect
remain-
when they think of Borderlands, they think of that single player campaign
Well,
that
it's
you
either
could, or
single
co-op
player
play,
or
co-op.
co-op.
Co-op
But
style.
it's a story that you go through the campaign. It's not.
Yeah, they want
live service.
they don't want an open world setup like that.
Well,
They
I mean,
just don't.
It's open world-ish already, but
I mean, but like they don't want one where it's open to everybody, like
yeah,
an actual game.
no, I
service
mean I
type
get that.
game.
Granted, neither did Anthem. Anthem does 4-player co-op, and that's it.
Yeah.
You'll never
But
see, no matter how many people are playing, you'll never see anybody else aside from those 4 people.
I could see them doing something like Anthem or Destiny better than Anthem or Destiny or even a Division. Thinking about it, there's one thing that all of those live service games who try to do end game things lack: support style classes.
That's true.
Like, I mean, everybody has to just look out for themselves. There's no like tank or coordination or healers or supports or
well,
anything
that's not
like
true.
that.
To be fair, that the Colossus in Anthem is a tank, and all of your characters can.
But you have nobody to back him up.
Well, all of your characters can do the revive teammates thing, so if somebody does go down. Plus, your rangers have the bubble if they take that one instead of the bulwark. Instead of the rally point, they have the
Bulwark.
Is it the rally point? One of them is a bubble, and one of them is like a muster. So,
I just feel like these games miss, like, lacking the support class at the end.
well,
at end
the other
game
flip side
really,
too, though, is if you make a support class that's dedicated support, sometimes it's harder for them to play by themselves. So if they are trying to accomplish, I mean, you run into the same thing you did with Vanilla WoW, which is your healers. It takes forever for them to do things when trying to level or just solo things because they are meant to be with a group.
Oh, then that's how you instantly fix it. Anthem lets you have all 4 javelins at a time. You give them a support javelin, boom, you can
that's
equip
true.
them just like all the rest of them. Oh, you need a support for this
But then
group?
you need
Let
to
me
make
jump
it
in
so
the
that
other
you
javelin.
can get loot drops for all of your currently unlocked javelins.
To be fair, I
on
have.
one.
I've gotten fucking legend or epic goddamn things for the Colossus and a masterwork for my Ranger. Like, I've gotten stuff for the other one. But with Anthem, it could have
A
worked.
pistol.
Oh.
Yeah. So it could have worked. It's just you. If you want endgame, you got to make the like team comp important.
Yeah. I understand both sides of that because you also don't want to make people feel like, well, my 3 friends, none of them want to run support, so we're just screwed because we want to play together.
Find some new friends. If
What?
you guys don't want to
Find
work
some
together, I said
new
find some new
friends.
friends. If you guys aren't willing to work together.
Well, on the, like, as a brief aside to this story, we had mentioned Bungie, Destiny, and then, of course, that's a Bungie property based, well, not based on Halo, but born of the idea that Halo is an amazing shooter, and we talked last week about Halo possibly coming from PC. That's confirmed, so we're going to get to play that.
And it's going to go into Steam.
Yeah, it's going to
Yes.
Steam. Master
I am
Chief
interested to
Collection
see
is
because
coming.
they haven't said yet or not, from what I've read anyway. Now, Chicken does read up on other things, so it's a possibility he could confirm one direction or another, but they haven't confirmed. If you already own it on Xbox, everything else that Xbox has happens to be a play anywhere style of game now. Everything that they've produced, I would be interested to see that because it's going to be on the Xbox version of the game too.
I really haven't seen
not
anything
just
about
Steam.
that. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very
as far
interested
as
to
I
see.
could tell, it's not because it's going to be a rebuilt version of the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, that's right. They are changing some things about
because I mean they are like pumping that motherfucker up there because they're only releasing the games one at a time.
Yeah,
Halo Reach
and
is
they're
gonna come out.
releasing them in not chronological order that they came out, but story chronological order. So you'll get Reach, and then the first Halo, the second Halo, ODST comes after 3 or before 3.
Yeah, after 3
After
it's Halo
3.
because it takes simultaneous, but whatever.
And then 4.
Yeah,
So they're
Well,
releasing them
technically,
like
it should
that,
take.
and I think
it's technically 2.5.
I think they said they're doing the multiplayer stuff all together as its own entity instead of trying to make it. You want to play Halo 2 multiplayer, Halo 3 multiplayer.
That's actually a really good idea to do, because one of the things that they changed, I don't know when the last time you all logged into the MCC version
long time ago.
of the Xbox. They switched up all their menus so it looks like it looks like the actual games the way they're supposed to be. So the menus looked right, but it also, if you started fresh and you go, okay, I really want to play Halo 3 today, but before you would have to put in the disc and MCC, the entire thing would have to download, or you'd have to go online if you purchase the digital version of it and download the whole thing. Now it goes, which version do you want? I want Halo 3. Boom. It'll only download Halo 3.
That's nice. Space saving.
Yeah, so they changed a lot of that about 5 or 6 months ago.
I guess that's why they're doing it this way too, because you can download them almost like if you were playing a Telltale game, once you owned all of them, you could pick which episodes you wanted to have installed. So it'd be kind of like that, whereas which one?
Yeah, which I love too, because
let me tell you, Reach will never be uninstalled.
No, none of them will be ever uninstalled if I have anything to say about it.
Well, but I mean, think about it this way: before they released the 4K version when the Xbox One X came out, it was already 80 gig.
Oh, right.
So it's like,
so it's almost
at
the
least
same size
this way
as the
you could
Vision
go
patch.
and I can download this version, this one game, and I'll be happy for a little while. Let me put this other one in there. And for those people that don't have a whole lot of space, they can delete one and move on to the next. So
Yes.
I think it's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
will
really
say
good
there's
way to-
definitely a lot of hoo-ha about having to have an Xbox Live subscription
what?
on Steam. They are not very happy about that. I mean, I have one. I've played on it plenty of times.
I mean, I have an Xbox Live, so it doesn't bother me, but I understand the frustration where it's like, I don't have an Xbox. Why do I need to have Xbox Live to play this? But
People are just like, well, I'm not buying it if it has it.
Because it's where the servers are, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you
fair.
got to
That's
connect
that's
to
kinda
their
throw a wrench
gotta
into
connect
things.
to their servers. So anyway, looking forward. As soon as it comes out, I'm buying it. I'm playing it. Like,
Yeah,
we'll pick
I'll
it
buy
up.
it either way. I've already bought the game twice. Might
I'll
as well
buy it
the
again.
third
It's
time.
Halo. It's
know.
where Chicken and I met. We'll buy it however many times they throw it at us, probably. I mean, I know that sounds like terrible, but at the same time, like, no other company has brought me together with, my soulmate, so I will give them whatever money they ask for, just about. Just about. There are limits. Throw that out there
True
before
that.
people
Limits
are
is
like, what about Armor Recall? No. None of that shit.
Another game that we all have enjoyed some time in, and if you've paid attention to some of our previous streams and stuff like that, was Left 4 Dead series. So we did the Left 4 Dead series. So the people, Turtle Rock, which is we had to look this up. Griff and I had to look this up because we wanted to make sure we had this right.
Yes.
Turtle Rock is the original makers of Left 4 Dead, but they were a division of Valve at the time. They were known as Valve South. So when they decided they gained their independence and separated, Left 4 Dead, of course, stayed behind with Valve because they were the main publishing company at the time. So it looks as though Turtle Rock is getting back into the zombie world with a game called Back for Blood.
It's a terrible name. To be fair, objectively, that's a horrible name. I mean...
B
I'm
for
just
B.
I'm gonna call it B for B.
Well, but that's the thing
Yeah.
is they're trying to capitalize on the nostalgia of Left 4 Dead and be like, hey guys, remember we did Left 4 Dead, so this is fine. Look how similar it
coming
is.
back
But
for
Back
Blood.
for Blood just sounds terrible. It is a terrible
Sounds like a
corny-
B-movie.
Yeah, B-movie is exactly where I was going.
To be fair,
Left 4 Dead is nothing but B movies. Like all
But
the
to
movie
be fair,
posters
you could make it corny and fun at the same, like almost like just like quips and all types of shit going on, and
This
stick
is
with that
like-
Black for Blood name. I mean, I'm
This
just
is
saying.
like Sharknado sequel level style.
Yeah.
It's just
It's being published by Warner Bros, so it's got a big publisher behind it.
Well, and I hope it's good. I hope they go back to... I saw that they said they were going to go back to their Left 4 Dead roots and then add in things that they've learned from there. I just hope they don't oversaturate it with a bunch of new stuff that doesn't matter to the core gameplay that they want,
To be fair, I think like as long as they're smart enough and like keep the core gameplay of Left 4 Dead, like strategic style, linear zombie shooter-esque.
Well, and they've said they're keeping the multiplayer thing where it's infected and humans, so there's going to be that co-op mode and everything. So you just don't want to add too much.
I'm super interested on how they're going to creatively make new special infected.
You're like, oh, look, this is the smoker. I mean, whatever we're calling it now.
This is the tongue guy. Watch out for tongue guy.
That's the
Tongue guy is
liquor
going to kidnap
dude,
you.
and then this
I think you. I mean, if you're smart, you create something to that
you could
degree, but you think outside the box on how you do it. You don't do necessarily that. Like you could have a zombie with a big giant hook on his, like a weapon to do that.
Or you could do like a cowboy's zombie, and he uses his intestines like a rope. And
gross.
Oh, like a lasso.
Also, whose intestines are that long, right? Like,
yes.
Well, I don't know. The smoker tongue wasn't
boy.
that long, so I guess.
And intestines can be long, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, they're very long.
That's true.
Actually.
Come here, boy. I got you. Get over here. Ew, it's on me. Get it off.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm gonna be watching this shit. Like, they also made Evolve too, by the way. When Evolve was incredible.
Well, Evolve was okay. If
I liked
Evolve was
Evolve. It was a lot of
incredible,
fun.
it would still be around, but it died pretty fast.
There are plenty of games that are incredible that do not. Like, Fable 3 apparently is incredible, but that thing is a hot pile of.
It's not incredible. That's garbage.
No, it's not. Nobody thought it was.
Really?
People were
I
paid
the
to think
fucking
that
reviews.
was incredible.
Man, they paid a lot of money then. Because that thing got a lot of great
They
reviews.
did.
Somehow.
That's why a lot of companies got bad reps. Because they were
For
like,
Fable
oh yeah,
3
we'll give you a good review for
$50.
Not just that, just Driver 3 was that way too. A lot of like gaming magazines were paid to give it a good review.
Well, there's no date or anything on Back 4 Blood. So imagine we'll let you know if there is, like, as soon as there is, because we're pretty jazzed about it ourselves. So
Jazzed.
Jazz hands.
I hate you people.
You're the one that said it.
We're not friends anymore.
Since we're talking about reviews from Fable 3, see what I did there? Move on over. Valve, which has had a problem recently with a lot of bombing for games for basically off-topic stuff. So the best example right now it would have to be the older Metro games being review bombed because of the fact that they decided that Metro Exodus needed to be on Epic Store only. Valve is trying to figure out a way to make sure that that doesn't happen. So they're going through those reviews that are off topic and trying to make sure that it doesn't hurt the overall score of the game. So we'll see how that works out, because if they can't really go through their games otherwise and make sure that at least a decent quality game is put on their format, I'm not really sure how they're going to do it with a review.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I mean, I guess.
Well, I think this is just tackling a different problem.
I guess it'll look for keywords, but I mean, I don't know exactly what buzzwords it would be looking for that would really.
Somebody's going to figure that out either way. Like, some troll is going to figure it out. They'll put it on a subreddit.
Well, yeah,
somewhere,
they'll put
and
it
then
online.
Everybody goes, okay, so if you put this in here, it'll be like it's kind of like the in order to, like, if you would, there were people in college that would go onto websites in order to be able to pull off a term paper based on something that was on there to cheat. And if they put quotation marks in white on both the left and right side, if you put it through one of the programs that
Tries to catch plagiarism.
to do plagiarism, it wouldn't catch it because it was in quotes, but nobody could see the quotes that were there.
I'm sure they've fixed that by now, so don't try that. And if you are trying that, you're a terrible human.
Don't try that because you're a shitty human being for doing it.
I mean,
do your own fucking work. But, yes, that was something that was done there, and it still works.
Honestly, I think what it could do, because review bombs are a lot of short, quick reviews. All it has to do is be like, okay, this review is short. Check that person's post history. Wow, they do a lot of not recommended short posts. All right, remove that one. He's just flooding the topics. And, I mean, it could scan, because the really good reviews that I like are ones that are, like, long and detailed on different aspects of the game.
Sometimes I want them to give me the short ones, because it's like, I'm not here to read a novel. I just want to know give me the basic outline. Well, okay, one
sentence. I mean, because
shit.
I'm telling you right now,
like to read novels?
Oblivion, the one that says killed a chicken, became enemy number 1, 10 out of 10. I'm following.
Yeah, I like
to
see those too, because I like to see short clips about what people like about it.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those are just priceless to read, but they actually do tell you just a tiny little slice of life thing about the game that they really liked that might sell you on it. We'll have to see when they implement, like, how that works out.
Yeah, I highly doubt we'll even notice. It'll be something behind the scenes.
Well, we'll notice if there's a bunch of ones, like, people will probably point out to you, oh, I looked at this game, look how many of these off-topic reviews there are, and its score is still,
I would be interested to see. You know how it's got the little graph to where you can see where it's been bombed one direction or the other.
Yeah.
If they start removing those, if that raises up as a positive, or if it just kind of decreases. You know what I mean? How that graph works. Because I don't know how that graph is attached, but it would be very, very interesting. One of the things that came out this week, I think it was this week, is a little bit of a controversy. Is we have said very, very much so we're not big fans of the Epic Store, basically because of the exclusivity stuff that they have on there. Also, the amount of information that you can share with your friends and stuff is not there.
Yeah.
There is now we're figuring out that it's being a little bit more intrusive than we'd like as well. It's and one of the ways it's on there is it is accessing your Steam without your permission. Where it's supposed to do it only
it's
with your
accessing
permission.
everything on your computer without your
Right.
information. Everything. It's even checking your internet pages.
Yeah, to actually
Everything
work history
you
and all of that
search.
stuff. Which, I mean, some of it I saw arguments where it's like part of what it's looking for is how to get to your secured connection. Which, I mean, I get that, but we really haven't had a whole lot of other storefronts, including other like the Bethesda one or the Origin launcher or anything like that, that have people have been like, look at this, it's doing some really nefarious stuff, because they don't seem to have to do as much as Epic's is doing currently.
Right.
Well, even so, Epic should not be going into Steam files and looking at your profile. When even if your profile is private, it could circumvent that and go straight into your disk drive and find everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's real interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this ends up. You know, they got caught, and now they're going to like, oh, well, this is what really happened.
Yeah. Well,
I'm very. I just want to know how this is going to end up because
Well, to be fair, they are part of Tencent, and I have said over the years that they are awful, and it's a Chinese-based company, so what they do is very normal in China, where they just, they search through everybo's records
they see all of your
regularly.
data, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And putting that stuff into our computers these days, like, oof. I don't want to get all political here and whatnot,
like searching,
but
like one person had posted that they have their Steam profile set to private, and they never connected their Steam and Epic stores, but Epic's launcher was still going through all of their Steam files. Like, there's no reason that should happen.
That's a virus.
Well, yeah, it's essentially malware that's going through everything you have, and I like that. Like, had it not blown up on Reddit, Epic would have just let that stuff slide right under the radar.
And that brings me to the quote that I have to say.
Okay.
The current implementation is a remnant left over from our rush to implement social features in the early days of Fortnite. It's actually my fault for pushing the launcher team to support it super quickly, then identifying that we had to change it. Quote, since this issue came to the forefront, we're going to fix it.
Because they weren't going to otherwise.
If people didn't notice, they were just going to leave it like it was.
Well, the top comment on this Eurogamer article that we have, what a fantastic quote, we'll do something about spying on you because you've caught us at it. From that, they'll either stop spying or make it so they won't get caught again. Probably the second.
Oh, definitely the second.
I would go with the second.
Definitely the second.
It's really shady and it feels not good, man. Like, that's not a good way to build customer trust with a storefront that's already doing some stuff that seems...
I don't think I need
grand.
the Epic Store client anymore, which means I think I might uninstall it.
I think mine's already uninstalled because we were just never going to play the Fortnite retail ever again.
What's that?
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah. Be very, very, very aware of what Epic is doing.
Yes.
Also part of the reason why I like the internet, man. You can't hide shit from the internet. People will find it.
Well, that's something Chicken actually asked me because we were talking about the Anthem stuff and the loot drops and everything, and people doing all of this stuff, like finding out that the level 1 rifle was going to be better for a little while than any of your other stuff, and now the math that we were talking about earlier where your gear stuff is having issues, where if it's just sometimes game like developers or anybody, in this case it's the storefront people and whatnot, if they do things just because they think that we won't notice as gamers, like nobody's gonna look into this because they're gonna be too busy playing the game or whatever. It's like, no, we have the internet, so even if somebody like me who doesn't know how to get to all my root files and all of that stuff is gonna find that stuff out, somebody's gonna find it out and they're gonna tell me and I'm gonna have opinions about it. So
Yep.
I mean,
every game that gets released, so someone out there goes through every single file to
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
data mining is huge. Actually, Oak and I were talking about data mining earlier this week, in relation to something else completely. But I mean, that's a thing that happens as soon as a patch even gets put out there. Is there's like 15 people at minimum in the community that are already data mining the crap out of it to see what didn't get implemented, what did get implemented, what's just in this patch that may come up later, or what it's doing. Like, we're not dumb as a whole. Somebody's gonna find out. Stop trying to be shady. You're gonna get caught. Like, we're not the police. We can't do anything about it aside from boycott the crap out of your product, but we will. I mean,
I try to speak with my money, but I mean, I'm one person in a sea of many. But
True.
at least I'm sticking by my opinion.
This is a lot of people that feel
bad.
roughly the same way as you do about it, especially with stuff like gathering information that we didn't authorize.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem. Like, the minute you go, and we're going to do this no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether you tell us we can or not. Here's a switch. But the switch doesn't matter. The switch is broken. The light stays on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
it's like, come on.
People are going to find out. So, stop being dickheads. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Anything
else we got?
I know this is like not as long as our usual shows, but it's because it's already 4:00 for us, so...
Yeah.
Yep.
The only other article that we had was PUBG is now banned in India.
Yeah, because it's
and
too
kids
early.
have been arrested for it.
They've been arrested? Oh no!
Yep.
Like, do you throw
10
them in
kids have been
jail?
arrested. Yes.
Poor kids.
Yep. For playing a banned game.
Yep. Which, I mean,
video games.
Okay, this is just a step from parents not parenting enough, and kids and things becoming too highly addictive these days.
This is what
that
happens
also
when
has
you
to
don't
do
parent
with
your kids.
a
They go
very
to
intrusive
jail.
government at the point that they're arresting children
true.
for playing video games.
It's true.
There's a lot of problems that stems from something like this. First of all, the government shouldn't have to interfere in your parenting. Second of all, PUBG is terrible, and I don't know why they're not playing anything better.
Because it's free.
But here's the thing that kills me is the fact that there's 10 kids have been arrested in a population of like 1 billion. You know, it's like, so you've got all these kids that are up there. Like, you can't convince me 10 kids was all that was playing this
but
game.
how do they know?
That's
They can track
10 kids got caught. There's probably more. But...
That's true.
Yeah, but also part of the problem is that two people playing PUBG got killed by a train, not paying attention. Again,
Let me stand on the railroad tracks and play.
it's the same problem with Pokemon Go. Didn't a lady walk off a cliff?
Yeah,
at
but
one
that's
point?
different.
How
Because
is
with
it-
Are
Pokemon
you
Go, it
walking
literally
and
makes you
playing on your
walk
phone?
around.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe
PUBG, I can sit on a couch and still play. With
I
no
think that if
problem.
you walk into traffic or a train or off a cliff because you're so involved in your social media or whatever it is that you're doing on your phone, that may just be natural selection. That
I'm
sounds
totally
really,
down with
really
that.
harsh, and I'm sorry. But if you cannot take your eyes off your phone for 2 seconds to realize that you are walking in front of an oncoming train that you can damn well hear, I ain't got no sympathy. That's natural selection. I am almost glad that we have weeded you out of the gene pool. Sounds terrible. I'm super sorry. That sounds awful. But geez, really? You did that to yourself. Like, you straight up walked in front of a train. It's not like they're silent predators waiting in the bushes and then all of a sudden a train pops out.
Really? Have you never seen a Resident Evil train? That motherfucker comes from around
You can
corners.
still-
and shit.
still-
Yeah, but you can still hear
coming,
it.
though.
You can still hear it.
Not until afterwards. It's like, what's that sound?
What's
Toot,
that
toot.
sound?
Oh,
Should
God.
give you a
Yeah, you
clue.
still had a what's that sound? That means you
Yup.
heard it at some point.
So, I mean, like, I just can't find a whole lot of sympathy in that respect. But at the same time, that's not the point. The point is children have been arrested because they were playing PUBG in a country which has banned it, which... there's a lot to unpack in that one statement, really.
Yep. I just... I guess if we have any listeners that are having to want to spend time in that particular country, don't take PUBG with you.
Yes,
That's
don't
the
do
only
that.
thing I
Don't
can
play
tell you.
PUBG on your phone, you scrubs.
Also that.
I stand by that one. Don't play.
Which, by the way, if you want to watch a really funny video, just click on. All you have to do is type in PUBG with mouse and keyboard on mobile. That is fun to watch because they're wrecking everyone because they've figured out how to make it.
Oh my god.
It's so awesome. Because
God,
you know good well nobody can react with their thumbs like you
Nope.
can with a mouse and keyboard.
God damn it.
Oh, speaking of mouse and keyboard. Speaking of mouse and keyboard, the newest update for Sea of Thieves on Xbox will allow mouse and keyboard to be played. So we are getting to the point to where Xbox is going to have mouse and keyboard as well. This ought to be interesting because if you think about it, Sea of Thieves just allowed for a switch to happen that keeps Xbox users from being able to
But
play
see,
on
now they'll
PC.
have to do it with...
It's mouse and keyboard versus controller users.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
what the switch
necessarily
is.
PC.
It's not Xbox
Okay.
So
versus
as long
PC.
as it's recognizing the hardware itself instead of platform.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good update that they did because if it recognizes you're using a keyboard, you can't opt out and
Which,
play with
I mean, to be fair,
controller
Sea of
people
Thieves
only.
Fair enough,
kudos
then.
to you because that's groundbreaking technology that could open many doors for cross-platform in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
I would be interested to see, because you got a lot of people that play like on a 50-inch, 60-inch screen television, and you've hooked up a mouse and keyboard up to playing to that. Like, do you still put a desk down and just have that in the background? Like,
To answer your
because-
question, whilst my TV is not that big, it's a 48-inch that I play on in here, and yes, as at present, while we're doing the podcast, this is on my TV. I've got my mouse, keyboard, and my second monitor, and my microphone. So to answer your question, yes, you do kind of put down a desk, but it's a temporary desk unless that is your permanent forever monitor. So I just have trays that I can move in and out of the way, and that's what my
yeah, but
stuff's
you're
sitting.
also you're at your PC desk though, right?
No, I am not. My PC
Okay.
desk
Her
is
PC
over there.
desk is over on the side.
Okay.
Because the TV is not going to fit on that desk. Like, there's just no way. It sits on an entertainment
Yeah.
center. And then I just put temporary, like, things that I can move out of the way when I want to use this as my
How
monitor.
far is it away from you right now? Because we can't tell
Of
from
my
where we're at,
TV?
of course. Yeah.
Probably
I
about
don't
2
have a
feet.
tape
4
measure and
feet.
I'm bad at guesstimating.
Probably about 4 feet. It's really
I
not
can't
that
reach
far.
it, if that makes any
Okay.
difference.
Okay, yeah. Because that's what I'm saying. Like, if I reach my hand out, I can touch my monitor.
Yeah, same
Where,
thing.
Yeah, well, if
where
I'm
a
playing on my
48-inch
PC,
screen
yes,
television,
but nobody
I'd
needs-
want further away
Like,
from
yes,
me.
Yeah.
it's, I mean, like, this is my arm's reach, and I'm, like, maybe halfway.
I
Yeah,
got
when
you.
we designed her area, we made sure that she would have the TV next to her PC so that everything would hook up and
Well, it's
whatnot.
also for being able to put my consoles on my entertainment center and hook them into my PC tower for
Yeah.
recording.
She's got a lot of room. I've got this nice little corner
Some people
with all
don't
my
need room.
consoles over
I
here.
do. But it's also because when I'm playing things like Overwatch, I move all of this stuff out of the way and stand up.
Yeah.
True.
So I need that space. And still, it's not enough. I walk over stuff all the time.
I got you. All right, anything else?
That should be
Go
it.
watch my Resident Evil stuff on YouTube. Mr. X is following me around, and he is a jerk. Okay? But I shot his hat off like Chicken told me to, so that'll be
Yes.
this week. He'll lose his hat this week, everybody.
Fuck him and his little hat.
I like his hat. I wish I could pick it up and put it on Leon.
No, Leon doesn't need it.
I wanted to.
Leon does not need a hat.
Oh, my Lord.
He
You're so high
gets one
maintenance
in,
with this
in
hat.
4, though.
Yeah.
Leon's got a
Wait.
cool hat for.
We appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week. Give it a respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfraResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Chicken.
Check out Chicken.
I'd elite chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
At Dr. Pickle.
And as she just mentioned, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel, where she's currently playing through Resident Evil 2. She's also played through all the Uncharted series and Far Cry 5, a bunch of other stuff. So make sure that you...
Silent Hill.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human. There you go.
Red Dead will
So you
eventually
can go
happen.
through all of her stuff. Go in. If you're listening right now, hit the little button at the bottom. There's a little subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell as well, so she can, when she posts new stuff.
Yeah.
Now that it's working again.
Is it? Okay, good. Nobody, I mean,
Yes. Yeah, now that it's working again. So make sure that you do that. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313, where you can watch Chicken stream Sunday through Thursday, which looks like it's about to move towards evenings based on his work schedule that's coming up. But that's awesome. So just evenings currently. So make sure that you check him out there. What are you playing through right now, Chicken?
Anthem currently until I find something else that I want to play.
Oh, fair enough.
During the day, he's been doing Fallout.
Yes.
76,
if I get day streams,
sorry.
I'll still be playing Fallout 76.
Yep.
Until I send it
So make sure that you follow him on Twitter so you can check out his schedule. Also, the Discord link that's down below.
He
Make sure
always
you click
posts
on
in
that.
Discord.
Always.
It's always in there, so that way you'll also know.
And you can hang out with
go
the rest
to-
of us because we're cool.
There you go. Go to mixer.com/MDBOaktree. You can check me out. I'm there just about every day of the week, with the exception of the night, because I am leaving here in a minute to go celebrate more St. Patty's Day. So it should be good. Doesn't matter anyway, because
So
it's released the day
you're
after.
getting drunk.
No, not me.
No,
Never.
what?
Never.
No, not on
What?
St. Patty's Day. It's like
No.
he's not
With,
even
with,
wearing
with
any
green beer.
Oh my god.
No,
Anyway.
God, no. No, God. I drink whiskey. We're good.
green whiskey.
Yeah, so good stuff. Anyway,
Look,
for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
Griff.
I'm chicken.
I'm back.
He almost forgot.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.